Okay, we're rolling now. Alright. Well, this is the review for the week, and as you can tell by the image I use, I'm reviewing Spider-Man Far From Home. So, I think this is the first Marvel movie that they released right after Avengers Endgame. And that does play a lot into one of the main conflicts in this story, but I'm just going to be nice enough and say that here's the plot for the movie. I know that a lot of people watch these Marvel movies, and I know that a lot of people probably know what the plot is just by looking at the trailer, but I'm going to be nice for the people who probably don't pay attention to this stuff as much, who for some reason watch my channel. And if you do watch what I do, thank you. That's really more of a joke saying that I'm not very popular, so I don't know how I would get noticed. So it's more of a self-deprecation joke than something aimed at you guys. So the story is that Spider-Man, after the events of Endgame, is feeling guilty over the fact that he's lost yet another father figure, and all he wants to do is go on a summer vacation with his private school, see the world, and get into the arms of the girl that he really likes. But of course, it's not that simple. He gets involved in a crazy villain scheme that ends up proving that his new friend, Quentin Beck, is not what he seems. And by the way, I'm just going to say this. I am going to use spoilers in this review to sort of get across certain points of the story. So I'm not going to... You're probably going to end up seeing this movie anyway because you either love the movie or you're friends with people who love the movies and they're going to drag your butt to the theater. So here we go. And no, I'm not actually angry. I just... whatever. Anyway, so there's actually a lot of good things about the movie. I really can't think of a bad thing to say. What I really do like is that they do have Mysterio in the movie, and he's known as the Spider-Man villain, who's known for making illusions and mind trickery. But they really did a good job at least convincing those who may not know that much about comics. It did a good job of convincing us that this Mysterio guy may actually be on the good side. And it was actually pretty cool that they developed him and they made him this really likable character. But I guess my one complaint about the movie is that it is basically this guy wanting to get revenge on Tony Stark. And so since Stark is dead from Endgame, he wants to take his anger out on Peter since he's Iron Man's protege in this universe. So I really didn't like that because he's technically going after Tony Stark, and it's like every movie where Tony is the main focus, it's always some guy who got wronged by him in the past, or some guy that is mad at Tony Stark for having more success than him. It's like we've seen, that's been a storyline that we saw in Iron Man 1, 2, 3, and this movie. And the reason why I think it's kind of annoying here is that, I understand that Peter's trying to find his own lot in life as a hero, but it's like we didn't have Tony Stark villains in Spider-Man Homecoming, so I don't know. People have been complaining that the Peter Parker in the MCU is nothing but Iron Man's lapdog, or Iron Man's son in this case. I'm not sure if I'd go that far. I'd have to really think about it a lot more, but I do think that this was kind of a bad choice. That I'm not against Mysterio as a villain. I'm not against him looking like a good guy and then turning out to be a villain. I just feel like that his backstory is just kind of done to death and a dead idea. I think that's really my only negative thing to say about the movie. The visual effects are actually really good because it does a good job. for a movie that's relying on CGI, it actually looks really convincing. And when they do explain that it's really all an illusion, but it can still hurt you, that's actually pretty cool too. Tom Holland, I think what I like about Tom Holland is that he may not be like, the way he acts, it may not be like the original Spider-Man. I think Tobey Maguire is a little closer to that. But he does kind of act like, a millennial Spider-Man. Kind of like an awkward teen of today, Because the Spider-Man in the original comic was kind of awkward, but he wasn't so jittery or stuttery, And I think it's pretty cool what they're doing here. I do think that some of the subplots are pretty funny. Like Peter's nerdy, out of shape friend ends up getting the girl, and they're totally okay with breaking up for some reason. That was pretty funny. And I remember Zach. I went to the movie with my friend Zach and Alex, and I remember Zach was like, "I can't believe this. I'm jealous of Ned." Actually, he said, "I never thought I'd be jealous of Ned." It's like, well, you may be jealous of him because he has a girlfriend. But you're not going to die of a heart attack when you're 35, Zach, so there's that to say. And now I've just pissed off everyone who thinks I'm fat-shaming someone. I'm just making a joke. Don't kill me. Anyway. So that was kind of funny, and it is kind of funny seeing those two characters kind of have more luck than Peter Parker at getting Mary Jane. And the chemistry between him and this version of Mary Jane... Oh, no, it's not Mary Jane. I think the character's Michelle Jones, but just call her MJ anyway. Yeah, I definitely... I kind of like how she's kind of a... She actually reminds me a lot more of Gwen Stacy's... Or Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, because, she is kind of feisty. She is strong. And there are even scenes where, even though Peter saves her a couple of times, there are even scenes where she actually gets to fight off some of the bad guys and even kind of helps with the plan. And I think what I really like about her is that, okay, in the original comics, MJ was kind of the popular girl, the girl that every guy wanted to go to bed with. But in this version of MJ, she's kind of more, she's pretty, but she's kind of dark. She's kind of misunderstood herself, and when she and Peter have that moment where they do finally get together, it is kind of adorable to see them actually get flirty with each other. So there was good chemistry between Zendaya and Tom Holland, and it is kind of the idea where I think this version of MJ kind of feels like the outsider and kind of pushes people away when she feels uncomfortable, but Peter's like the first person that's actually chased after her, and it's kind of like he sees the beauty in her that she doesn't see in herself, and that no one really acknowledges. Well, no one acknowledges in such a sweet way as Peter does. So it's kind of that sweetness of he gets me when most people really don't. At least I don't think they do. So that was kind of a nice thing to turn on there. One of the other subplots where Happy Hogan is dating Aunt May. I mean, they do make the joke of her being attractive again, and it is actually kind of funny. It is really funny when at the end where Peter confronts them about it, and then they both give conflicting answers. There is a lot of good comedy in this. I mean, I remember the first one being the first Spider-Man movie in this MCU being kind of jokey, but I haven't seen that movie in like 2 years, but I would have to rewatch it to see how much the comedy worked. But this movie was pretty funny, and it kind of had the same sense of humor, kind of like the same goofiness. So it was a lot of fun to watch. I'm trying to think of what else I can say. I think the most I can say is that I'm really interested to see where the Marvel's cinematic universe. I'm really interested to see where it goes from here, because what I really like about it is that it kind of sets up that Nick Fury is up in space with the end credits scene, and I did tell you there were spoilers, so Okay. I shouldn't have said that, but whatever. Most of the people that watch my videos have probably already seen this movie, so yeah, I did say there were spoilers, so yeah, I guess you guys can enter at your own risk back at the 1 minute mark. So yeah, so they are kind of hinting at the end credit scene that there's something else bigger going on. It's going to be very interesting to see. And the other cliffhanger that I thought was kind of funny was uh, Peter Parker getting framed for murdering Quentin Beck, who Mysterio's real name is, by J. Jonah Jameson, and it's even played by J.K. Simmons, who played him in the other movie. So that was a nice touch. I think that's really all I'd have to say about the movie. The next 2 weeks, I don't think I'll be able to see any movies, but I will be reviewing the first 2 seasons of Stranger Things. And I will also be covering Mary Lou this Monday by Bob Seger. So that's it, everybody, and do not crucify me for the end credits spoiler. See ya!